Ben and I will get into the ranking of our Pixar movies, the definitive Action Guys ranking of Pixar, but first...
The mathematical solution to the exact 20. But before we do that, we are going to have this discussion. If you guys, Thanos snapped away one set of 20 films, one of them was just going to stop existing. You could never go back. You forgot they even existed. Would you give up the MCU or would you give up Pixar? Once again, leave your thoughts below in the comments. Let us know what you think. If you want to hear the full discussion, go check out the full show on the Collider Movie Talk feed. We're going to have this discussion right now.
I think that Thanos snap away the MCU.
Oh, that's
I know.
so tough.
I know. And I love that we're using a reference from the MCU to keep Pixar around. But dude, I can't get rid of the movies that... I mean, what? It's been 11 years technically for the MCU, kind of like with Iron Man.
We're in year 11 now.
Yeah, exactly, with Iron Man, and you go back to '95 and Toy Story, and you know, I was 7 when that came out. I've grown up with these movies, and not only have I grown up with them, I've enjoyed them as a child and as an adult. That's what happens when you grow up. But like, you look at what they've done in this third part of their films, and with movies like Inside Out and WALL-E, and the way that they speak to you as an adult. I can't imagine the world would be a better place without these movies. Whereas, like, I think the world would be okay without the MCU movies. Whereas, like, Pixar movies instill so much value, so much hope, so much love, so much joy. They teach you so many great lessons.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that you don't get these things from Infinity War, but it's also like you said earlier, it's done in such a palatable way. You could show these movies to anyone. No one would be offended. Everyone gets the greatness out of it. Whereas, like, some people just don't like superhero movies.
Yeah, it's such a hard one. I tweeted this out earlier, and I'd like to actually share some of the responses, which I will in a second, but I want to make sure that I give my answer here first.
Yeah.
And I'm going to fall on the other side of the coin here.
I knew you would.
It's close, though. So I think the easy one here is that I don't connect with animated movies all that well.
You didn't watch them as much as I honestly feel like most kids do.
I mean, the first era of Pixar, I watched almost every one of these movies as they came out.
Like, I went to Lion King in the theater when you went to Heat in the theater.
Well, okay, the early Disney stuff,
yeah,
the class R golden age of Disney, right. So 89 through 95, I saw every one of them up to Pocahontas. So
like as they were coming out. Like you were, okay.
Like,
so
my
you
sister
were a child at one point.
Oh yeah, my sister loved Little Mermaid, so I watched the crap out of it.
Okay.
Beauty and the Beast, we watched a ton. Aladdin was like my family's favorite. We watched it all the time. Lion King, I loved as a kid. I was a huge fan.
Okay.
It was Pocahontas forward that I stopped, which is when, incidentally, Pixar starts. So I do remember watching Toy Story 1, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, and maybe Monsters, Inc. in theaters, though I might have missed it. I definitely watched Incredibles in theaters.
Yeah.
Most of the first run I watched. But I will say, I think that the world we live in today, enough of these other studios have an understanding how to make a quality animated movie. We'll continue to get really high quality animated movies from other studios. No matter how well these other studios seem to understand the success of the MCU, no one else seems to be able to do it. And it makes me sad to think that superhero movies without the MCU would nosedive back into a place where we would be getting the likes
like
of
Joel Schumacher's. Even
like just the Josh Trank Fantastic Four was just a few years ago.
Right.
Like, you have the X-Men movies, the best ones are pretty good. Like, I like the best 2 or 3 X-Men movies quite a bit.
But like X-Men First Class as opposed to X-Men First Class 3.
Oh, X-Men 3, The Last Stand you're talking about?
No. What's the third one in the new trilogy called?
Apocalypse?
Yeah, X-Men Apocalypse. The varying levels of quality from the first one to the third are astronomical. Did you like X-Men First Class 3?
Yeah, I just actually, when you said that, I just started thinking about, like, in 25 years, looking back at a picture of Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse, and us just being like, why?
What happened?
Like, why did that happen?
But yeah, that's what I'm saying, though. It's like X-Men First Class is amazing, but X-Men Apocalypse is pretty horrendous.
And also just like the notion that a movie as quality as Logan gets enough acclaim, like people like that movie, but it also gets dismissed by a lot of people as just mediocre. And that's like not even really a superhero movie. That movie's like significantly more of like a drama than it is a superhero movie. And even that has a hard time making it taken seriously. Whereas like the MCU movies, for whatever reason, the general population is just like, these are all must-see for us.
We've all drank the Kool-Aid. We're all in. Anytime a Marvel, anything happens, everyone's in.
They're literally the equivalent of Pixar. When a new one comes out, everybody and their kid goes to see them. The number of like,
Yeah.
some of you guys know this, that I run a toy company with my friend Alex Kessler. It's his company, and I have a position there, but I travel a lot for that job, and I end up sitting on a lot of airplanes. And the number of like 47-year-old dudes that I sit next to, who the conversation eventually moves to movies because I love them so much, and they tell me that they have a son who their favorite thing to do together is go see an MCU movie when it comes out.
Right.
We get into a conversation about superheroes because it just goes there, and they just tell me like that's the thing. Their kid loves them so much, and a new one comes out, and it's like a family event. This has happened to me like 6 or 7 times.
Right.
Strangers flying around the country, and like it's just that is crazy. So I would take those movies because I think it's harder to replace those going forward than it is to replace good animated.
Yeah, and what's interesting too is that like what's funny is you tweeted about Marvel versus Pixar, and I tweeted about the most iconic Pixar character ever, and we both got about 50 responses within less than like 30 minutes to an hour. People care about these two properties so much. People are so opinionated on these two properties. It just shows how much everyone cares and pays attention to the fact that everyone has an opinion on them because everyone watches them.
So we're going to share those responses in just a second, and we are going to get to our rankings. But I wanted to just give you guys a quick call to action here because it means a lot to us. The first thing we're going to do is, please, guys, subscribe, like, comment on the Collider podcast feed here on YouTube. It's a big thing. It's growing that channel is a big deal, and it means a lot to us. Go ahead and subscribe and leave your comments there on the Movie Talk feed. That's who's hosting this show. The third one is that Drew and I have this thing, Action Industries. He mentioned just a second ago. He shouted out the Action Advisory Board. We are trying everything in our power right now to build this thing. And the first call to action is go follow Team Action Show on Twitter and go follow Action Industries on Instagram. We just launched the Instagram last week, Action Industries. We're trying to be active. Share the post. It promotes Action Movie Anatomy, our other show. It promotes this show. It promotes stuff of us in the Schmodown. It is absolutely the thing that we need from you guys to help us grow, to keep doing bigger and better things, to get bigger guests, budgets, to go fly places, to go to crazy premieres. That's what we want to do. We are truly trying to take the Action brand worldwide. We need your guys' help to do it. So please follow Action Industries everywhere you can. There's a Facebook page. There's a Facebook group. Yeah. Just tweet at us. We'll let you know everywhere to go.
Yeah, go find Action Industries on Facebook and give that page a like. It is in its early stages of development, but my goodness, is it going to be exciting stuff moving forward. Next up on the show, we're going to be ranking the most iconic Pixar characters of all time.